Let's get.
G'day everybody, welcome back to Sketch Biz. I'm joined by the ever so talented Rob SketchCraft today. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Now you might notice there's no faces going on today. We're going to be just working on some bits and pieces and just chatting, and you guys are here for the ride, and we're going to hang out and we're going to catch up with Rob and see what he's up to, and talk business like we have in the other shows. But yeah, not too much craziness for today. But other than that, I want to check in with you, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm all good.
You've been busy with wrapping up Spawn versus Every Spawn, which is awesome. Is that a little bit nice to have off your plate, or
Well, you never know when it might start back up again, right? So careful, you think you're done, and then they're like, "Hey, man," So we'll see what goes on with that. But we got a trade paperback coming up finally this month, so looking forward to that.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Now, if you guys don't know, Rob is insanely talented. I think both of us have been following each other for quite some time now. And you've been like this big, huge mentor in terms of helping me get ahead, and also to help me stay motivated, because I think there's been a few times where I've reached out and been a little bit sorry for myself in regards to the industry, and you kind of keep me level-headed. For those who don't know, Rob, do you want to just give a little rundown about your background and what you've done, and your amazing list of work that you have on your belt?
Yeah, I mean, well, we can work. Recently, like I said, we got Spawn Kills Every Spawn. I did 5 issues of that recently. Then before that, I worked on video games. Like we did the indie game Berserk Boy, which is now out on Switch and PS5 and PC. And then Overwatch 2, I did a little bit of time on. But I spent a lot of time on Crash Bandicoot 4 and Spyro Reimagined. And then did video game magazines for the longest time, too, when that was a thing, And
that was the Game Informer, wasn't it?
Well, I did the cover for Game Informer, but I was full staff at Play Magazine and art director at Game Fan Magazine quite a while.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then some indie magazines here and there, like Megavisions and Retro and stuff like that, Whenever they, every now and then someone's like, I think we can make this work again. And I'm like, I don't think so, but, I give it a shot, like if you guys...
You tried? Not again.
Yeah, I keep telling them, guys, I just don't see it, but all right, And before that, I did licensed apparel.
Yeah, I was about to say, we both sort of dabbled in the apparel era. I mean, I was heavily based in screen printing and designing for that style. And did you do a lot of licensed stuff, or was it?
Yeah, a lot of license for mass market. I worked for Mad Engine, ODM, Logotel, Sea Life.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Did you ever learn any of the background stuff in terms of how it's printed, or was it just
separations and stuff? I don't do it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you convert the channels into meshes and then print out on film, and I don't do it. I mean, there's a Instagram channel I follow called Weapon Prime, and it's a guy that's been doing this forever, and he does his own little bootleg Marvel shirts and stuff. And it's the best steps I've ever seen. I'm always sending him a note this is too good. It's too good. You couldn't do it in mass retail. It's almost too good. But so I definitely recommend checking out his stuff whenever he does.
Well, there was when I worked at the company, we actually outsourced a lot of our SEP stuff. The guy that we used was a fellow called Seps in that, and he was all over Instagram and stuff as well. But yeah, just insane the amount of stuff that they can do. I mean, I understand CMYK, but when it comes to the half toning and the gradients, it's just a bit of a mind fuck, that one.
Yeah, it's an art, it's an art. So, but I primarily just did the graphics.
Yeah, DTG. So what are you working on today?
I'm just sketching some little chunky Batman I had lying around.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I figured, why not? I got a bunch of commissions to do, but I'm like, I don't like rushing layouts. So I was like, well, I was putting some stuff together for a publisher, and that just ran way longer than I had planned today. I was all right, man, I
Yeah,
appreciate all the opportunities, but man, sometimes it's like, when do you need this by? It's one of the reasons why I consistently turn down work, because it's like they're always like, we need it Monday. And I'm like,
too tight.
man, like, no, you don't. You know,
Yeah.
you want it by Monday. You don't.
But is that feasible? Not so much.
It's like, that I had this like conspiracy theory or personal theory where I'm like, that's what led us to AI. This all this rush to things getting
Oh,
done
yeah.
super fast. Now I'm like, well, now what's it? Now it's done so quickly, it's not worth nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I
so
had the conversation with one of the guys, and he's just started doing some stuff for one of the big two. And the deadlines that he's given for interiors, and people like his stuff's great, like, especially when he's got the time to be able to do it. It's just the chaos that is added on to trying to get, like, one, you want to make it look good, but two, like, it's insane just how fast they want you to do it and still expect the same sort of quality.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, there are people are like, why don't you do more? I'm like, well, that's the main reason why I don't. My
Yeah.
wife just watched me. She watched me do it for a long time. At this point,
Yeah.
she's like, no more. She's like, if all you do is commissions and your own stuff, she's like, she's cool with it, but it's like, I can't, I just can't abide by it anymore. Like beyond
No.
like the rat race, it's like I I just feel like the minute you get on that path, you're just waiting to be used up. You know.
You're a monkey.
I wish that were it. I mean, at least, monkeys, at least bring new customers in all the fucking time. This is more like, I just feel like, they aren't being pushed that hard. They don't go to work every
Yeah.
day. The editors and stuff aren't being pushed that hard. I think they
Yeah.
intentionally do it so they, who's in charge. Like I may be a little conspiratorial on that, but you know.
Well, it could just be, money. It's money talks. And if it's not coming in fast enough,
No, it's coming in. They got merchandise. Look, the one thing I learned about T-shirts was it would anytime you needed
merchandise.
money, a bunch of new Hulk merchandise would show up. Hey, we got a Hulk
Yeah.
program. It's like T-shirts and tchotchkes and toys pay the bills, not the comics. So I just
Actually, speaking of conspiracy, I read something on Reddit the other night, and someone said, "What's a conspiracy theory that is like a little bit left field?" And but you think is to be 100% true. And someone piped in and said, "Well, Disney do that live remake not because and they don't care about it, but it's so that they can hold on to that brand for as long as possible and keep making merch off it and make money that way." And
what do
that's
you
why all the
mean?
live actions are a little bit like they rehash something and put it back on, like in cinema, like, with the new Snow White, and everyone's like, well, that's terrible.
Oh no, that
And they
that
said,
theory
well,
doesn't
that
hold. I'll tell you why it doesn't hold. Because those movies
why?
ruin a lot of merchandise. Case in point,
Yeah.
Daredevil sold was one of the highest selling things when I first started working T-shirts in 2005.
Yeah.
Until the movie came out was 2003. So about 2002, Daredevil sold. Movie came out, killed Daredevil. Up until, I mean, even when the show came out, like it killed it permanently. Lauren. So
Oh no.
a bad movie, live action movie, will not only kill the movie merch, it will kill the drawn merch. The drawn merch and the stylized merch to me is the stuff that lasts forever. It's the movie merch
Yeah.
that when you say 101 Dalmatians, who's asking for the Glenn Close, Cruella DeVille? Just curious, because I've been against these live action remakes since the 90s, since that stupid Dalmatians movie. And I've been like, no, you want the animated film. You don't want the live action. No one's asking for Christina Ricci and that CGI ghost when you think of Casper, but
I'm sure there's a market for it somewhere.
yeah, well, not long term there isn't. There's always someone out there always has poor taste. There's always that one uncle who shows up in those like lizard or dinosaur shirts on the sleeves, like,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah.
It's a classic look.
No, they make it because it honestly, I in my experience, the people that greenlight those decisions still think live action means better.
Yeah.
They think it means prestige, and I'm just like, what was the highest grossing movie last year, Lauren?
You tell me, because
Inside Out
can't remember the
2.
last time I watched one. Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, so like, that's just not the case. It's just we Hollywood has its way of thinking, you know.
Yeah. So if you're not going to be doing well, from what I imagine, you're going to let go of comics for indefinitely. What would be?
I'd work on the right project, like.
Yeah.
But am I pursuing pages at Marvel and DC? No, no, that would never happen.
Nah. There's a general consensus by a few, by the sounds of it.
I mean, I never have. You've never once sat in a portfolio review. Could you please, like, it just, it's not that I don't love it. It's just that I've never, was never inspired. Was rarely inspired by mainstream comics. Like
Yeah.
every now and then something amazing would come out, like all like Superman for All Seasons, or usually something really cartoony. Some
Yeah.
Tim Sale work, some Carlos Maglia stuff. But by and large, mainstream comics were never my thing. I was always trying to do my own stuff or indie stuff. Or, when I got
Yeah.
hired
Yeah.
at Play Magazine, it was to do video game graphic novels, like original stories based on licensed games that would then maybe become the basis of a next game or something like that. Which piqued my interest. So I was working on a Death Junior graphic novel for the better part of 2 years before it got just, the recession hit and the company imploded, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. If there was an IP that you could work on, and I know that Spawn was always like one of your absolute favorites. Is there anything else that if it got thrown your way, would like hands down you would have just been like, yeah, I'm taking it?
Well, it wouldn't be a monthly comic. I would never
Yeah. No.
attempt to. I'm not that guy. But I mean, if just to work on something, sure. I mean, I'd love to work on Savage Dragon, Turtles.
Yeah. Cool.
But it'd have to be like. See, here's the thing. When it comes to turtles, I can't stand the human head turtles. The round heads. I know, like, there's a bunch of people out there that love that stuff, and I can't stand the look of. I like my turtle. I grew up with the Mirage comics, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the cartoon, though I loved the opening. It was the video games I liked, like the arcade game and stuff. That's when I thought the cartoon designs really shine, was like in the games. So
What's the one that came out on Switch? It was Shredder's Revenge. Was
Shredder's
it?
Revenge, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that
particular style.
Yeah. I mean, those are the cartoon designs. You know what I mean? They're just
Yeah.
But like back in the 80s, it would be the arcade game and Turtles in Time.
I actually managed to snag the NES version from a shop for like $20. It was pretty good.
Actually,
still just as hard as I remember.
Did you grind the 99 scrolls? That's the only way I was able to beat that game.
Oh god. No, I was one of the ones that always used to drag my brother into the room to try and finish it for me. That with Battletoads. Good lord.
Yeah, but with Turtles, I mean, there's just one spot in the sewers where you can, if you take Donatello and you just grind bad guy little enemies, they'll eventually drop scrolls, and that's basically it. That's how you beat the game.
It's like doing the whistle in Super Mario 3. 3 whistles and you're at the end.
I know, right? Would suck because some of the best levels people never played,
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, and I mean, it would be nice to. I have my own ideas about how to lay out some comics, but I'm constantly like, I don't know what the word is. Rejection is not quite the. You run up against expectations. I think there's other ways to lay stuff out, but generally speaking, it's a very I'm not saying politically conservative, but I'm saying artistically conservative industry. The minute you start doing something remotely different, it's like, what are you doing? They'll go, hey man, you're putting too much. You just chill out on that. You're putting too much work in. I'm like,
but that's what I do.
I'm trying to make this thing sell, guys.
Yeah, because you worked on such a well-known IP. Did that change the? I don't know whether your social media or how people reacted to? Did they, did you come up against anything that was a bit like meh?
What do you mean?
Like, as soon as people become popular, they kind of think that they have the almost right to be able to say whatever they want. whether positive or negative. And like, did
Well,
that change anything that you worked on such a big title?
it's a goofy cartoon Spawn comic. It's not getting ahead of ourselves
Mm,
here. Most people don't even know I did it, you know?
yeah.
Even now, they're like, really? That came out? You know? So, like, no, nothing changed on that end. I'll tell you when I did get flack was when I first got hired at Play. Like, that was when DeviantArt was really big still, you know? And so I was doing, like,
Yeah.
you know, those journal updates. I was like, yeah, man, I'm new art. I'm going to, you know, our chief art, whatever, head artist. They gave me some stupid title. I was the artist at
Mm.
this magazine full time. And this person goes, this person had followed me for years, you know, they go, how'd you get that job?
Oh, Jesus.
I was like,
Well,
okay.
you didn't.
Yeah.
So,
That's when I was like, yep.
God.
Yeah, that's how that goes. I think most people were really, you know, that follow me were just really like, well, it's about time someone, you know, figured. I think they just figure like, you know, like if they think if you got talent, like it will just sort of follow. And it's like, it's never worked
Nah.
for me. Like, um,
Nah. You gotta, PR yourself like shit.
yeah, but I also don't. Like, I played a little bit of that game back in 2010 through like
Mm.
2014, and I quickly found out that a lot of these kind of like there's a certain group of comic artists who think they're rock stars, you know, and they kind
Mm.
of like behave that way, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then plus I lean cartoony. I always have, and when I don't, like they generally just don't want that, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a really there's very few people out there that lean into it, and I just end up in this. You're not quite anime, man. You're not quite, you know, Disney. We don't know what to, you know. You want to work on kids' books? I'm like, no, I don't want to work on kids' books, you know. And
No.
I've never understood this, Lauren. I just don't understand, you know, this whole like it's either Chainsaw Man or, you know, like Care Bears. You know,
Yeah.
there's no in between, you know. So
Art is subjective. Like, I don't. There's no rules, and I don't know why people are trying to
well, the
act like there
Turtles were
is.
in between. The original Mirage comics were not. They weren't
Mm.
violent like American Flag or Heavy Metal. You know, like, was it?
Mm.
People go, it was dark. I'm like, it really wasn't. You know, it was. It wasn't. It just. It would show
It was
you the.
darker.
It would show you the blood versus maybe blacking it out because the comics code.
Yeah.
You know, like that was the only. But for the most part, there wasn't. It was a Turtles like stopping guys from robbing like a donut store, you know, half the time, you
Mm.
know, like a 30-page chase sequence and stuff, you know. But so like it was this cartoony book that just like, and it would change art styles because, you know, different people in the studio would draw it. But even the Kevin and Eastman, the Eastman and Laird stuff was like, I mean, it wasn't realistic. It was, I mean, they looked like Muppets. I used to call them Ninja Muppets before the movie came out, you know. I'm like, they're Ninja Muppets, and I loved it because I'm a Muppet guy, and I was a Muppet kid. And when Henson and them were announced to do the movie, I mean, that was like probably the biggest thing for me. You know, I just couldn't
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
it. You know, and it was there was a trade because the ones I got were these trade. They did these full color trade paperbacks. Like there was 4 volumes of them because they were in all like the Crown Book, the bookstores and stuff over here. And in the very last one, they said we're working on a movie. There's a script. We're gonna shoot in New York. I was like, holy! I just couldn't believe it. And Henson's doing it, you know. And just blew my mind, you know. So I just think
Two
about
worlds
that.
collided. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like the Turtles gave us somewhere between all that, but the industry just doesn't, you know, want to like.
Yeah.
It just thinks the way to recreate that is like we'll make, you know, parody books, right? Like biker mice from Mars. You know, you're like, no, man, that's not.
Mm.
You know, like, all right. I mean, there've been some fun ones. I think they're like SWAT Cats was kind of cool. I was like into that Samurai Pizza Cats. I thought that was kind of fun. But I mean, I don't know. You know, I just the lessons learned. It's like Spider-Verse, that kind of look could have been a comic for the longest, right? If they lean, and I always think about, especially like 2005, 2015, like that whole juxtaposed street art scene. Like, why can't that become
Yeah.
like when Scotty Young was first, you know, breaking into Marvel? I mean, every editor I came across that would look at my art goes, "Oh, you're doing that Scotty thing." I'm like, no. You know, like been doing this quite a
Yeah.
long time. Like, oh, you're like a street artist. I'm like, man, I sit in my room You know, like I am not out on the
Yeah,
streets.
I haven't walked the streets in ages.
Yeah, you know, like I know where every 7-Eleven is. That's the most I know with the streets, okay? I look like Milo from Atlantis, okay?
Oh my God, you actually do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Should
amazing.
have seen me in my 20s. And so, so it's just like, but it was like that came out and it was like, no, don't do that street Scotty stuff. I'm like, but that all right, guys, you know, like
Actually, I did listen to a podcast yesterday, and Scotty was on it, and he was mentioning the same thing, like the pushback that even he received,
I
and then all
imagine.
of a sudden, people like he fell into it and just played on the comedy side of things, and that's when people started, letting it naturally just happen.
Right. Well, I mean, now it's like kind of need to do violence or some kind of like,
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like some kind of over the top, which is all cool. That was the one thing with Spawn, man. Like, I was really hoping that would be way more violent. I was like, what doing Spawn here? Like, what's so
yeah,
violent? You know, John was like,
give me the blood.
yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I like, as long as it's funny, you know, like, I don't like,
Yeah.
I'm not into like legit gore and stuff. It's not my thing. But humor is hilarious, you know. Like,
Did you ever play? There was a game that came out on this Wii called Mad World.
yeah. It's a black
Yeah,
and white
that
Sega
was
game. Yeah.
so good. That was. I remember when I was working in the game shop, and that was like being advertised, and I was just trying to convince everyone that walked in the shop, like even these mums that have these little kids. I'm like, this game's going to be perfect. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
just forgetting the fact that their child is 4.
That was when Sega was trying to put out a lot of new stuff, and the Wii was getting some graphical treatments because they couldn't render realism, right? So they were forced,
Yeah,
you know. So you got some interesting things to come out of that. Yeah, we covered that one at Play. That was why I got along with the publisher, that Dave Halverson, because like when it comes to indie titles and games and stuff, like I've always been in the thick of it. Even when I was a kid, my dad had this security company, so I would just apply to
mm.
every magazine to get a free subscription under his company, you know. So so I would get Game Developer magazine. It would be filled with like C# code, and I would read it. I don't know what the hell I'm reading, you know, but like I would read every article on like here's how we could figure out how to do this kind of parallax or make characters walk downstairs and shit, you know. So, but yeah, like I've always been a fan. I always call those are like the games that generally get like a 7.0, but they're actually
Yeah.
really unique. They do something really unique that no other game does, and then people forget about them. And then 10 years later, they go, "This was a hidden gem you missed out on." I'm like, I didn't miss out on it. You missed out
No.
on it. Like, I assure you, I was proselytized. I was out there, you know, at E3 going, man, Mad World was dope. You know, games like Gungrave, you know, Mad World, that'd be one of those titles.
I never got around to playing Darksiders, but that gained some really good traction as well.
Yeah,
Was that similar? Yeah.
it's more
As
like
in like,
Zelda.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's actually a more like a I won't say mature, but you know, like a Image Comics Zelda. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean Joe Madden and
Okay.
all them. You
Yeah.
know, that they did a lot of Darksiders coverage at Play, so that studio gave them a replica sword of War's replica sword.
Yeah,
So I
nice.
used to, in the middle of the night when I would be there working late, I would just pick up the sword, just rock and go, yes.
And with my axe.
Right. Yeah, I did
So
this. So
thinking about Zelda, like Zelda's so not like some of the stuff, especially in Majora's Mask, not for kids.
which stuff?
In Majora's Mask, so like,
Oh yeah.
oh god, like just the creepy stuff that you find, like there was bottom of the well in Ocarina of Time, and the zombies are like just absolute chaos and just disturbing. And people wonder why we're all a little bit messed up now that we've grown up. Like that's what we were put in front of.
Yeah, it was tough. Nintendo was getting a lot of flack for not being mature enough, and so like, you know,
Hey,
and
you want it? Here we
yeah, and then
go.
they're like, well, this is just a little, you know, it's that weird balance with Nintendo. People have like an expectation of, and then when they respond to it, it's, you know, some people love it, some people don't. I thought they were cool games. I wasn't a fan of the 3D Zelda for the longest time because I just didn't like the music in Ocarina of Time and stuff. At the 60.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm older than you. And so, I was waiting for, I was waiting for this game since 95. First thing I ever saw on the internet big time was the release of the 64 before it came out. There was this thing called Shoshankai, right? And it was, or Space World as it was known. It was this big, it was where Nintendo showed off all their stuff in Japan. And just coincidentally, I was in high school my senior year, and I was on the internet because I was the TA in this we had a Mac lab that Apple donated to our school, and that was when they announced the system, and they had QuickTime videos of all the games and stuff. And so I was looking at the Mario and Wave Race when it was still like motorboats, it wasn't even jet skis yet, and the Zelda 64, which was this tech demo. So I was looking forward to it, but the 64 had no sound chip. And one of the things that really drew me to the Super Nintendo the first time I ever played Link to the Past was the sound. Like, I could never stand the sound on the NES. Like, every now and then there would be an amazing game on the NES that had great sound, like Batman or Mario or something. But for the most part, the sound on the NES was horrible. By and large, it wasn't music you wanted to listen to over and over again. But the sound chip on the Super Nintendo blew me away. And the sound on the N64 was its Achilles heel for me. I was like, ooh, it's bad. Like, it's really bad.
Yeah, don't get backwards.
There's no sound. There's no sound chip at all. And there was no space to store any music. And so it wasn't until a company called Factor 5 came on board, and they had built a bunch of MIDI tools on the Amiga that ported over to the 64 pretty easily. Anyway, but I couldn't stand the music on Ocarina, so I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it. And so I know
I'm gonna have to pull it all out now and actually have a listen to both, because we never grew up with this SNES. We went from NES to 64. I do have some here, so I'm gonna have to pull them out and have a good listen.
Yeah, most people would disagree with me, but I also think that they're like nostalgia.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then visually, I was kind of mad at the game too, because Nintendo had made all this. You got to remember, Nintendo had made this big deal out of like, we're not going with CD-ROMs. We're going with ROMs because, we're going to do everything in 3D, and we need the ROMs to do. They're really tied. It was some bullshit PR. It was like kayfabe. But you get to Zelda, and it had these pre-rendered backgrounds in low res, like really low res, like blurry, way blurry. And you're like, well, if you're going to use pre-rendered backgrounds like Final Fantasy VII, give me the CDs, man. At least you have the music. Like, it's got these blurry backgrounds and this lame music. I'm like, man, I appreciate the Z targeting. Don't get me wrong. I really do. You know what I mean? It's a game changer. But I'm not loving this. So I was really just a 2D Zelda guy.
Yeah, okay.
Like Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. Those were and Minish Cap, I really love Minish Cap on the Advance.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince my husband to play Wind Waker, because he never has.
That's another one I was looking forward to.
They got a lot of flack as well.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, I love the art style because I like Little Link, but I know a lot of people hated it. When it was announced at IGN. Oh, I was not IGN, but at E3. I was watching IGN live. This is when IGN first started charging money to stream E3.
Wow.
Yeah, and so there was like these IGN live chats that were just for the people who paid, and people were like, "This sucks," but I was excited because I'm like, they're bringing in Little Link back, which I was super excited for.
Yeah.
But my problem with that game, you get to it, you're like, it's a water world, right? Hey, I'm out for that. It's a water world. There's no fishing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you? There was fishing in Link's Awakening. There was fishing in Ocarina. But you can't get on that boat and just go fishing.
No, you can pull up chests, but that's about it.
No, yeah, who cares? Like, it's a whole world you can't go fishing. Like, I was like, they had to cut stuff. This makes no sense. Like, what are you doing?
It's like for the people who desperately want to buy one of those fishing games but don't want to sound like they're lame. So
I actually like the fishing on Link's Awakening more than Ocarina, but it's still it's good. But I was just like, come on, man! Like, what is this? I couldn't never figure it out. It's like I want to defend this.
Rookies.
I want to defend the game, but it's difficult here, guys. But the art style I still think holds up.
Oh yeah. Now it's like a big cult following and people love it. Whereas before it was way too different. Everyone started freaking out. I think because they got their big buff-ish Link, and then it just completely stripped back to pubescent.
Well, that's when I was laughing, because when the trailer for Twilight Princess first came out, it started with that Lord of the Rings shot, with the orcs and the fiery sunset. Oh man, it's like Lord of the Rings. That's gonna be great. And then you play most of the game as a wolf.
Yeah.
Stop laughing.
It's like this is puppy version.
It wasn't until Breath of the Wild that I finally found a 3D Zelda game I could get into, But it was just like I was always like, there was always like, I don't know. I don't think they're ever gonna get back. I mean, who knows if they'll ever get back to the Zelda that I know about, And even now, like, I still like, you guys could do with designing dungeons again, like it's
I think that's the biggest thing people are missing.
Yeah, they're missing Zelda. Like, look, it's a really simple formula: overworld, dungeon, second world. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very common formula. People don't want to break from it.
Yeah.
And the minute you do, you're introducing a different, like Majora's Mask is not, you don't go Zelda and think Majora's Mask. You say Majora's Mask because you have to be it's not just because the name of it, it's because it has a very different mechanic.
Someone says Nightmares and you think of Majora's Mask. The game is chaos.
But I mean, when I was a kid, everyone hated Zelda too. That was the one that pissed off everyone I know. That wasn't that big. Was
it like an afterthought?
No, it's just it didn't play anything like Zelda 1, which was overworld dungeons, and Zelda 2 is like a side-scrolling action game. It's nothing. It's totally different. So it has a great. There's this Palace theme song I still think is fantastic, but the game itself was not well liked at all.
Do you play anything now, or?
Yeah. I'm playing Mario Kart World. I usually beat one or two games a year. It depends on like if they let me have an easy mode. I do the easy modes if I can, because I'm like, I don't got.
Yeah, story mode. Give me story mode. I'm playing this game not to want to shoot myself.
Right. So like I Dragon Quest 3 HD. I beat that. That was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I want to get Donkey Kong, but not right now. I'll get it probably closer to my birthday. Play that till Christmas or something.
Yeah, that's our next one. Yeah, we're finally introducing gaming to the little one, which is going to be fun. But we've shot ourselves in the foot because she definitely likes it. Continues to ask constantly.
Real games or those iPad games, like they just tap the screen. See, because I'm like, if it doesn't have controls, it's not a game. It's an app.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've been playing Mario Kart on Switch too.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize there was that many Princess Peach versions that you could get, because it's apparently the only one she ever wants to play. But seriously, I think we're up to like 8 Peaches.
Yeah, it's uneven. Everyone has a different amount of costumes.
Give me 8 Waluigis. Just give me the gangly guy. You've got a YouTube as well. Have you guys been doing anything recently, or?
No, we got something coming up soon.
Yeah, cool.
The YouTube, I don't know what to do with it. Is really the end result of it.
Yeah.
So like this past year, I've done some stuff with my buddy Uncle Jerk, where we just kind of go over some comics and look at stuff that I like art wise, which has been fun. But like
those videos are great.
Oh, thank you. But
they're good to have on in the background, which is what I do when I work.
But it's like art wise, I don't really know what to do. That YouTube has kind of become for artists become like here's these new products you can try. Right? Here's me using Art X pens, and and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then the other one would be like, I guess like art vlogs and stuff. So I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always treated the channel as like when I make stuff, I'll stream it and people can see how I work. But I've done that for about 10 years now, and it's like I don't know. I don't really feel. I don't know what to do with the channel.
Yeah.
Like art tips. Like use this pen or don't. Because then what happens is people see me using like Photoshop. I'm like, oh, you're using Photoshop. You're supporting AI. I'm like, I used 2016 Photoshop. Like I used
the one you could purchase
that I did purchase, and they're like, well, then why don't you use Procreate? I'm like, because I can't. Why don't you go use Procreate?
Yeah.
You love it so
If it
much.
works for you, good on you.
Yeah, so I just find like a lot of like the streamers these days, just you get a few that are interesting, but a lot of them just kind of want to tell you, like how to make things. I'm just like, maybe I just need to stop for a bit until this goes away
Yeah.
or I find some other angle. I don't really know yet. It's kind of sucks because some of my long-term fans, like they've been like, oh man, you gonna like do this step by step? And I'm like, it could take a month to edit some of these videos or a full week if I do nothing else. And it's like for like
Yeah.
500 views, and I'm like, well, no offense. That's not fair for me.
It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
Like an insane amount of work. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm not doing too much. I'm just, sitting there and having a yarn with people. And even that in itself, you just got to, got to rewatch it a couple times just to make sure there's no like, I don't know, chunkiness or, slip ups, stuff like that. Make it smooth, because as soon as you put something up that people are going to pick up and just, they're going to jump down your throat. So that's the internet.
So I've been recording everything. I just don't know what to do with it anyway right now. So it's just sitting there. I'm like, well, I'll figure out what to do with it at some point.
Even what background stuff, you don't particularly have to talk. People just like to have, I don't know, like me. I don't know. I've got no one that I can go just hang out with and draw with in my city. That works within my schedule, because so if I had something in the background where people like drawing along with me, something.
Well, that's what I always used to do it for, but most people don't get those updates, Lauren. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just don't. Like, even if they follow you, and even if I go on socials and I'm like, hey, this is over here, most people don't click links and then follow. So there just comes a point where I'm like, I just don't know.
It's too much effort.
It's not even the effort. It's like, it's a distraction on some level. It's like, all right, so I would like to do all sorts of things, but these companies don't want it by and large. They don't want it on their platform, and they actively discourage, so then you end up in this situation where it's like, you get some kid or some artist at whatever, level, and they're like, man, I really want to learn how to do this. And they can't go past a certain point, because YouTube videos kind of all sit around like a very surface level conversation when it comes to art, like, or making art.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not realistic, I don't know how to describe if I'm saying it right, but like, there's a more
Do you mean like
if I'm really
how
Go ahead.
No, I would like, I'm thinking, because that's a good point, because that's kind of what I want to focus on is the realness of what this industry is like. It's like, it's not glamorous at all. It's like a lot of solitude, a lot of just, grinding and figuring it out on your own.
Yeah, like if I'm doing like a layout, and then I got like a digital version, but then I got to do a color roughie, and then maybe I need 2, 3. Maybe that first one isn't good. I do like an optional one or a second one. I'm like, all right, and then I got that color one is the guy that I'm going to follow while I traditionally color this, or I'm going to take that and I got to do flats. They don't want to see all that stuff. They don't even want to know about it.
Nah.
They want to know. How do I just go
straight? Show me the really cool finished product.
Correct.
Just make it look easy for me.
Let me stand in front of the camera, right, and do this. Hey, everybody! Whoa! Look at.
Well, it's like the reveals that they do, and they just slowly turn it around. I'm like, please stop.
It's so cringe. Like, first time I saw it, I'm like, you guys will come to regret doing this in the future. This is one of those things that it's like the ice bucket challenge or whatever, like you're gonna remember.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna remember that stupid day. The minute they made Henry Cavill do that, right? I was like, okay, guys, it's over.
Oh, here we go.
Morons. And it's unfair because like, there are people who want to know all those steps, and they get stuck at a certain point, and they're like, sometimes they think they're doing it wrong. And I'm like, no, that's the process, or that's maybe your process.
It's literally how some people work. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And they feel like they're doing something wrong or something. And so to that end, I feel bad because it's like, but at the same time, I'm like, I got like 2,000 videos, been pretty honest about everything. Sometimes it gets me in trouble,
Well, people don't want to know the stuff because, like I said, they just want the glam sort of, I don't know, rock starishness about it.
Nothing rock starish about
Really.
being an artist. Like, let's just be honest. The job everyone tells you isn't a real job. And then when you do it, they're like, well, how are you doing that? And then now that they can type a prompt, they think they're an artist too. You know, and I think the one that
That's
got me
it.
the most, Lauren, I always love is people go, oh, man, it must be nice to sit at your house all day. I've heard this one forever, right? Now, growing up, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere and do anything. My father wouldn't let me leave the house. I couldn't even go to my backyard. I just sit in the house. And so I know what it's like. The first movie I ever related to was Shawshank Redemption. Like that felt very much like my life, like minus the prison rape, you know, but like it was very like institutional. And so when people would say things like that to me, I'm like, obviously I've never been stuck at home. Like you really can't go anywhere. And it wasn't until COVID happened, right? Everyone got a good fucking taste about what it's like to be stuck at home.
Yeah, to actually be isolated.
Right? Doing your work all the time and you can't leave. You can't leave. And they lost their minds, Lauren. They lost their mind. They were like, this is the worst ever lockdown. I'm like, that's what it's like to be an artist. You know?
Yeah.
You see everyone.
Enjoy.
You see everyone else
still
doing
enjoying it?
Yes. Yeah, you loving it now? Is this wonderful for you? You having a good time? We're obsessed with it though, right, Lauren? Like you think you're gonna give it up, and then maybe sometimes 6 months go by, and you're like, God damn, I want to do that thing, you know?
And I'm behind the desk again.
Yeah. I took some time off this year. Like I wrapped Spawn up in December, and then I didn't do much for a few months. I rebuilt my studio. I built myself a new store and built a new website, which, by the way, I don't get paid to promote Squarespace. Is it helpful? Yes, it's better than Etsy. Is it drag and drop?
Yeah, okay.
No, it isn't. Those are lies.
Is that how they advertise it?
Yeah, I mean, it is. But if you want it to look good, no. You're going to be doing CSS, you know?
Yeah. You got to know code. Enjoy this other new.
And none of that stuff. Well, I tried. I was like, maybe Chat GPT that I can burn through some of the fossil fuels, whatever, to help me with this stupid thing. No, none of it worked. I had to go to actual people who knew their shit, you know, and get help and, you know, pay for some.
Funny
service,
that. You know? Chat didn't come to the party.
No, it doesn't know what it's doing.
Nope.
None of it worked. So a 3-week project turned into like an 8-week project.
Yeah.
But that's life. That's working on anything, you know. And then I spent a lot of time just testing out paper. You know? Like
the experimenting stuff's the good shit. That's just like that's what I miss. Instead of like having to just keep chasing.
Well, that's how I found this stuff. So this stuff is fluid hot press watercolor paper.
Oh, nice.
There's plenty of hot press out there, but this is not even the 100%. This is what they call that synthetic stuff. But cellulose or whatever.
The cotton stuff.
No, the cotton stuff is what I don't like. This is the cellulose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like it. But I used to draw exclusively. I used to do like a lot of my marker and color pencil work on B marker paper, but it was too thin. And then I moved to Hammermill 100-pound cover stock, which I used to have at Kinko's when I worked there 20 years ago. And I, for a long time, been doing that, but I can't do wet media on that stuff. It won't take it.
No.
But this particular brand of hot press watercolor paper feels exactly like the Hammermill when I draw on it.
Okay.
So only now I can do my watercolors. So the last few pieces you see me do has been on this stuff, you know. So I just recently, you know, I bought one of every paper stock there is to be had on the internet over the last.
Wow.
Everything. You know.
You're the paper man.
Yeah, my wife was not happy about that. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I gotta find something. Because I wanted to be able to paint and do marker and do color. I wanted to do whatever. I just don't want to, you know, I don't want to be like, I can't do this. I gotta do that. I want one way. You know, I see Scotty, I see all these different people, like, they always just seem to have like a thing they do. And I'm like, I felt like I've never had it. Like, I've always like compromised. Like, well, I can do this part here and I can do that part there, but I can't get all of it down in one shot, you know? So.
Do you feel like that's a confidence thing, or is just you like to work a particular way?
No, I mean, with traditional stuff, I have a very specific vision in mind. I just haven't been able to find. I mean, when the minute you start mixing water and alcohol and all this stuff together, things fall apart.
Yeah.
So And I didn't just rely on this paper. I did find another Strathmore Series 500 plate will get me there too, but it's much more expensive.
Oh yeah,
much more expensive. But it
what
would
am
get
I
me
using?
there.
I think I'm using the 300. I think
Oh,
that's what it is.
yeah, that didn't work for me at all. 500
Yeah,
plate.
I've been trying to find, just because we don't get 1117 here. Like no shop will sell it because yeah, no idea. So I have to ship it in. So it's just like waiting for the amount of time for it to come over from the States, wherever it's coming from,
Well,
Amazon.
I mean, if you're doing the boards, right?
Mm.
I mean, you don't really need 11 by 17. You can just rescale it.
Yeah.
You can do A3, and that's good enough. No one's gonna sue you for it. You just go in Photoshop and rescale.
Yeah, that's fair.
And just be like, the original's on A3.
Be like, does that make me a real artist?
I've been hearing that my whole life. What's real, not real. When I was a kid, I remember I was at this family function for my stepmother, and one of her uncles, this older gentleman, goes, I was drawing Superman or something, and I had rotated the page, and he was like, a real artist wouldn't have to rotate the page. I was like, oh, all right, okay, yeah. And then after like 15 minutes, I'm like, this guy's over there drinking. I'm like, he ain't no artist. I'm an artist. I'm gonna rotate the page. Like, I'm not listening to nobody. And then like a week later, some like making of Aladdin was on TV or something when that was first came out, or it was Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin, or one of those. It was one of the Disney movies. And they had an animator board. And what does the animator's board do? Rotates. Spins around. I was like, that lying son of a... I was like, I don't want anyone who ain't actively doing this giving me any advice. Like, I made up my mind then and there. April 1993. It's exactly when that was.
Oh, God.
Easter weekend.
You're just like, it is embedded in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like me and my high school teacher. Never going to forget that one. Telling me that black's not a color. So that's just unfortunately stuck with me.
Well, technically it's a value, but it can be. You can make chromatic blacks. I mean, all you need to do is just add complementary colors, to one another.
I'm scared of using it. So now I'm just like still trying to force it or something. I don't know.
Well, my high school art teacher, anytime Ms. Irvin, she would always do still lifes, and I got real tired of drawing fruit. And so I was like, can we bring in our own stuff? She's like, sure. So I would just bring in video game controllers. And I would just draw then I would draw them really big. And she's like, what are you doing with that? I'm like, drawing video games. She's like,
why are you mad?
She's like, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, what am I going to do with that? Well, I'll get a job teaching people how to draw video game controllers. Like, technically, you're getting paid to do that right now. So like,
product design, come on.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I started putting giant video game controllers in my like covers and stuff, just to get back at Ms. Irvin. Yeah. And then look, I'm not going to say this is the case, but there was an artist who's a pretty famous one, I'll tell you off air, who was pretty much an exact layout of mine with the giant controller. And he got called out for it,
Oh wow.
And and then kind of took it down. I was like, hey, look at that. So it's funny. I'm like, we can make this giant controller thing take off though.
It'd be a new brand. See, that's what you should do. YouTube videos on giant gaming controllers. Now you can start teaching it.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
No.
Just hey, go to my Patreon, give me $10 a month or $5 a month, and then I can spend my whole life. I don't know. Like I appreciate those. For me, I just can't. I just don't know. I can't. I don't know. Like I feel like artists need to retreat at some point and then come back.
Yeah.
Like it's that process of retreating and coming forward. When artists are always in the limelight, I always wonder about that. Like how genuine they are. What's the trick or the angle here? Because I mean,
you get burnt out at a point, and then you're going to start having to make sacrifices somewhere to keep the grind going.
Yeah. There's just, I don't know. It was tough, like even going into art departments every day, like to teach yourself you have to produce art every day, no matter what, or they're going to fire you, And in those t-shirt gigs, you never know what you're drawing day to day or what style. I mean, one day I'm doing like Tonka truck looking things, and then they're like, oh, you need to do like, affliction style. And then by the way, you need to invent new things. And then they hate the things you invent. What do we hire you for? I'm like, man, I didn't know I had to reinvent whole art movements here. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like
when I took this job, it didn't specify that.
Yeah. This is a weird industry, t-shirts.
Yeah, the amount of car mashups I had to do You know, like those like you get it out of a trunk of a car, and then it's got like a million of those like cars doing burnouts, and you sort of like mush them together in Photoshop, so you fit as many as you can onto one shirt,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the
and
guys
just do like the
I
fog around
learned,
the outside.
the guys I learned from, they were at the forefront of that back when it first started. And so like they
Mm.
knew how to like, use a path tool and airbrush all of them from scratch. And, and they would be like, you got to be a path tool master. And I was like, I'm never doing this. There's got to be something else to do around here. Like, turns out my comic book knowledge kind of saved me from having to do a lot of it.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what
And
Secret
that's when
Wars was.
oh man,
I remember I put a Thunderbolts t-shirt together in like 2005. I'm like, what's Thunderbolts? I'm like, it's like, that's not a thing. And I'm like, it is a thing. It's a real comic, guys. And they're like, no, it's not. And I had to go to their shelf, pull it
yeah.
off the shelf. I'm like, here it is. Like, it's sitting right here.
It's like, oh damn.
Like, well, no one cares about that. Don't do it. I'm like, all right,
Okay.
Spider-Man and Venom it is.
Yeah. So apparently the only two that people know off the top of their heads.
We couldn't even put Hulk on a shirt at the time. The green guy doesn't
Really?
sell. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't until the Avengers film
Yeah, well.
that the Hulk came back. I got in trouble for putting the green guy on the shirt. Again, another live action movie that ruined,
Yeah. Oh. What have I done to myself? Scales.
I know. Those like Alphonse Mucha stuff. Like Quesada used to do that a lot in comics too. Like when he was working on Ninjak and Azrael and everything, and Doctor Strange, or was it Spider-Man? He'd put all these Mucha backgrounds and stuff in there, and and I got really into like Alphonse Mucha, and it was like you're spending a lot of time doing some designy shit that like no one appreciates but three artists. Cool. Yeah. We appreciate it, right? You're like, I love Alphonse.
I'm doing it for me, okay?
Yeah. I'm stippling stained glass. Look at that. You're like, yeah.
It's just like, how's your back? It's broken. No, the only reason I've gone this hard on this particular thing is because I know it's not going to show up until the very end again. Maybe.
Yeah, I got a little...
Have you ever thought about doing your own story or publishing or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. It's. I have plenty of stuff written. It's sitting right there.
Yeah.
The problem I had, Lauren, is I did these Kickstarters about 10 years ago, and my business partner stole the funds and set me back about 20 grand and pissed off a lot of people. And he even did Kickstarters without my knowledge, like in Indiegogos, and was selling stuff to people.
Oh, wow.
It took me years and years to make good. And then in 2019, I gave everyone a final, like, all right, I'll give anyone a refund that wants it, but understand, like, because it was like, I had to take a loan out for that refund. I was like, I need to be done with this.
Okay.
Like I can't continue with this anymore. And so, so I got all that done and everyone's good, but it's like, I'm still like gun shy about it, Yeah. Because I know the minute I do, someone's going to come back up, and I've just been like.
And be like, yeah.
But that's where, that's what I'll do.
It's a dark side of crowdfunding that probably a lot of people don't realize, especially like if you do know who you're working with. I think that's why a lot of people write it solo.
It's easy to say, never let anyone touch your money. And I agree with that. The problem is I had been working with this guy for like 10 years. And we had worked on projects together that were a lot more lucrative than like Kickstarter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, but I don't know.
Greedy.
I can't. So, I mean, yeah, I blame myself. I've told everyone from the beginning, that's my bad. I accept responsibility for that, but that wasn't my intention to ever do this. I mean, I've been on Kickstarter since the day it started,
Yeah.
Kill Screen Magazine, when it first went up, I was trying to get Dave, when we were first doing Game Fan, to go through that instead. And I was like, let's do hardcover video game things and not skip monthly and just do it like 4 times a year,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I definitely have that. But I'll tell you this right now, when I go to do it, it's just not going to be what, I'm going to let people down.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to do the thing I do, and that's just, and so, yeah,
Well, Well, maybe that's why it might work, because it is all 100% you,
Yeah.
and it will be that chaotic humor. I don't know.
Maybe. I know it sounds like I'm like, oh, Rob's being down, but I'm like, no, I'm just realistic. Like, I'm realistic.
Yeah.
The people, I'm gonna make the stuff, so it's gonna be there. But it's just like, I've just learned to be like, look, the stuff I always liked growing up, I was like one person who liked it. Like, hey man, this Dragon Half anime is amazing. No one wanted to hear about that. Like I love Nichijou. You know what Nichijou is?
Negative.
No, you don't. So I'm not clowning you, but I'm
yeah,
trying to
and
say,
there you go.
This is what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, everyone's like, Sword Art Online, right? Yep. So, it's just, you just have to accept that if you want to spend your time doing the thing you love, it's probably going to be loved by quite few until maybe you die. I mean, some people break through, some people really do.
Yeah.
I have not been one of those people. Like I worked on Spawn, and most people,
it's exhausting.
Even the Spawn fans are like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why are you making Spawn look like Invader Zim? What is wrong with you? Like you do get those.
Because I can.
I'm like, you wish you thought of it, like that's what you wish you thought of it. Seems so simple, right? Come up with that idea yourself.
And yet there's this whole cult following for Invader Zim, and yet you give them something that is in line with that, and then not good enough.
Look, I love John. He's a great writer, but he didn't write an Invader Zim style story. And that would be the thing. I'm like, guys, it can't just look like it. We need to just go. I was like, I think the guy who wrote a lot of the comics passed away. So like that was a problem too.
Yeah, was that recently?
Yeah, it was like a year or two ago. Like it was like whenever we kind of started, I was like, damn, But my friends are like, you should write it. I'm like, I don't think you understand how this industry works. They don't let the artist write the book unless the artist has already got a name. This whole industry is right. And John he's a great writer. He created Chew and writes over at DC. Like he's Eisner winning dude, man. But it's just like
he knows what's up.
At the same time, though, I'm like, go way more violent, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, we need. So like, there's times in the book where I just like kill people, and that's not in the script. Like
you're like, so I did something.
Well, I don't know. I just turned it in. There's they've been okay with it, but I'm like, I'm not. This needs more violence. Like there's a Pinocchio joke where this Pinocchio spawn shows up, and and it was like the Pinocchio spawn was supposed to walk down the street in the script. So I was like, what if he's talking to the fox and the cat, right? And the script had like Chibi Spawn or whatever, like drop a safe near the Pinocchio spawn and kind of Spawnocchio or whatever and miss him. I had the safe just fall on the two characters, so just blood. Like it's just like,
oh yes,
Pinocchio spawn's like, oh dear God,
just a splat.
What's happening? And some people didn't like that, but I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you got to add a little bit of you in there. Where are we sitting at times wise? Oh God, we've hit an hour already. My gosh.
Told you, time flies.
Yeah. Anyway, how'd you get on with yours?
It's good. It's ready for color.
Yeah, nice. Good job. And I've just been doing scales this whole time. Apologies. But see, this is what it's like. You kind of have to just sit here and grind for a little while.
Yeah, that's like those animators are like, I did hands for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Then I moved on.
Or hair or something.
Yeah, for real.
Fuck.
For like 2 seconds of footage,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll have this done in 4 to 5 business weeks, and my back will be broken. So anyway,
just don't press hard.
Okay. No, yeah, God. And I've been seeing my hand physio. I keep getting a smack each time. Actually, I found out that I have an extra tendon in my thumb. It's like it's an odd joint or something. That tendon, ligament. So that's why, like, if I pull my thumb down, my like pointer finger comes down as well. And so that's what's creating a lot of tightness for me, which was, yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm just going to turn out looking like a T-Rex.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you go, but like a lot of people ask me like like how long I've been doing digital art, and it was like I always wanted to. I knew drawing on the computer was gonna be like a future for me, but I was forced. I was like, I was ready for. I bought my first Wacom in 2001. I wanted to get one in like '98, you know, and then I used the Cintiq at 2003 at SIGGRAPH, but it wasn't quite there yet. But I bought my first one in 2008 because I had carpal tunnel. I'd been doing so much tight line work that like my whole forearm was just, it was unusable.
Cheers.
And so it was through the digital I was able to draw with my whole arm and not my hand, right? And so like I retrained myself to have a looser grip.
See, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
Yeah. So I'm not clamping down. Fist. I don't have that, you know, that like, you know, these indentation people have, right?
Oh yeah. I've got, on my finger there. It's just like.
I don't have it anymore.
There we go. Tap.
Yeah.
That's my hand. But then I get all my dry needling done in my forearm to try and release it each couple of weeks.
No, so I recommend, and that's why I do the scribbles, so I don't have to.
Yeah, true. Bit more loosey-goosey. All right. Anything that's us done. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you, Lauren.
Keeping me company. You know how much I absolutely love your work, so
well, I appreciate it.
I don't need to tell you that, but to everyone else tuning in, definitely go check out Rob's work. And I'm sure we'll be doing this again. And, you know, if you ever want someone to hang out with, I'm always going to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, we're going to sign out. Peace. Bye, guys. We'll catch you later, and we'll, tune in next time. Bye.